Ladies and gentlemen, friends and family, shalomi to my homies out there. Thank you very much for hanging out with me and spending some time with me. It means a lot because I really enjoy you guys and I enjoy your comments and I enjoy hanging out with all of you guys because it's cool because we all have the same common goals. Well, most of us. And for those who don't have the same goals that I have, well, this is why I am here, because I would like to encourage everybody by using scriptures and try to convince everybody that these goals, and let me define these goals, as these goals are obeying to the very best of my ability the directions and instructions that our Creator has given to us and has asked us to keep. But he didn't demand us to keep them, and he didn't force us to keep them, because there's a thing, I guess, is defined as free will. And free will is our ability to choose life or death. Our ability is to choose righteousness or worldliness. Our abilities are to read the scriptures of our Creator or to ignore them. And it's simple enough to ignore them, because if you have ever said, which I have said so many times, that I am very, very sorry, it's almost blasphemy, but I have said that the laws of our Creator have been nailed to the cross. I used to teach people that. I used to talk about it, and I was so free in my abilities to get individuals saved. And I told everybody they could be saved by this Romans road to Christ, using the words of Paul, a couple of verses here and there throughout a selective books that are not the foundational basis of all scriptures. Now, a lot of people will say, I want to start in the middle because I want to go right to salvation. But you guys have to realize that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob were all counted righteous. They were saved according to what people would like to be saved. Now, how were they saved? How is this even possible if Messiah Yahushua, Jesus the Christ, wasn't around at that time? Well, they were found loyal to our Creator by keeping his laws, statutes, and commandments. The first 5 books of scriptures, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, are the most important pieces of our entire educational system when it comes to scriptures. If you start in the very middle or at the end, and you don't know what the Creator of the universe has requested from us, then that will be on us, because all of us have had these Bibles in our presence all of our lives. This generation that we are in right now is the most technological generation of all times. We had the Gideons who were putting Bibles across all the U.S. for years and years and years. We have everybody with Bibles. You have apps now. You can get a Bible. You can read the Bible. Yah Scriptures has a free scriptures that you can download. All of that, 𝐤𝐄𝐄𝐿. But the most abundant, amazing, incredible things that we have always ignored appear inside of scriptures. They appear there, but we have to read them to understand them. We can't look at them and allow anyone else on YouTube or Rumble or wherever else to tell us this is what we should believe. When people say you should be worshiping on a Sunday, you would go back to the beginning of the book and you would read the scriptures inside of the book. And inside the scriptures of the book, you would find things simply about Sabbath keeping. You would go into this and you would start reading these, and these are only the scriptures, these are only the laws in order as we find them. But they have our Sabbath day command, which is coming up right here. And when somebody says, yes, the seventh day Sabbath has now been changed to a Sunday, the day of Sol Victus, an actual deity that is not our Creator, that's their day. So if we're worshiping as our primary day of worship on that day, then we would just go back to the front of the book. And in Genesis 2:2 right there, it tells us about the Sabbath, and Exodus reiterates it in 16:23 and 23:12, all throughout. Then inside of Leviticus, then inside of Deuteronomy, it follows up and it talks about our Sabbath days. And we know from scriptures because we are diligent and we want to not just be those lukewarm, soggy, wet cereal people that think they're always saved. We go back to this and we look and we say, okay, Sunday worship is out. That's a strike. We shouldn't be doing that, right? And so we also have things like don't bring Yahuwah's name to naught. So anytime, even though that his name isn't God or whatnot, when people have taken it out of scriptures and replaced it with a capital G-O-D, we've brought his name to naught. This is why we would want to have a good translation of scriptures, and we want to get as close back to what they are without these evil scribes that have rewritten things constantly over and over and over. So we wouldn't know this stuff if we didn't know Torah. And if we don't know Torah, then how are we supposed to move forward? How are we supposed to ever inherit a kingdom that is going to be based upon the Torah? Guys, the rules set for when we take our last breath and it's over, and we immediately end up at the time of accounting, at a time of classification. It's just like a good prison or a bad prison, because we're going to go to a place and we're going to be there and we're going to be either left or right. And we don't know what we're going to be. But the greatest chance that we will have is if we are loyal to our Creator. Just like our parents, wouldn't you want your kids to be loyal to the words that you say? As parents, we know the direction of our kids. We do our very best to try to get them from point A to point B. Sometimes that doesn't always work out, but this is what it is. If our kids go rogue after we've spent a tremendous amount of time with them and they just start violating all these things that we've given them over the years of don't steal, don't hurt people, don't cheat, don't lie, all of these things, but they become the liars. They become all of this. Then you know all of your words meant nothing. So how do we know what our Creator wants us to be? He knows what we want to be because it's in the Torah. That's how we know what we should be, because it is in the Torah. And the Torah is the greatest books of the entire scriptures, and we shouldn't be ignoring them. So ladies and gentlemen, friends and family, again, thank you very much for hanging out, and thank you for reading with me. Let us get into our book today. This is the book of 𝐤𝐤𝐿. This is another free production of Yah Scriptures. Yah Scriptures is the greatest English translation that you guys can get. I showed you guys the big blue book. This is the back of the big blue book. Guys, we are building our next versions, which are very, very small. It's going to be essentially the same size as the little cheap one that the Hallelujah Scriptures has. And again, the Hallelujah Scriptures is a completely corrupted company and a corrupted document as well. They have a tremendous amount of errors. We have corrected these, and we are building the small books now. And so this is a limited edition Scriptures. This is what is available right now. Probably, I would say, 8 to 12 months, we will have the next 2 books. What you have in this one big blue book is going to be split. And so there's no way, and it's also going to be small font. And so if you guys want a large font for amazing reading and a book to pass on for all generations, this is it. The new books that are coming in are going to be super cheap. They're going to be mass production, as mass as we can, so that we can get them as far and wide as we can, as cheaply as we can. This book is £7, like $6 after shipping and packaging, all this stuff. They charge us for £7. That's what you're getting with this big blue Bible. Along with this, you're getting our Creator's favorite colors, the same colors, the bookmarks that you guys see here. The significance of them is that they were the same colors that were used in all the temple, as well as the blue that is on the front. You know, we're instructed to have blue tzitzits. Our Creator loves blue. And so this is actually a work of love. And right now we're able to get one full scriptures into our brothers and sisters in chains as we get through the rest of this batch and finalize this limited edition print. And then we will have all the small scriptures in. And then we will see, once the small scriptures are all in, if there's enough demand for the big blue book, do we do another big reprint? Because these things are very expensive to get in. They're super expensive to get transported. And they are, for what you guys pay for this, it's very, very cheap. The grifting company, Hallelujah Scriptures, has an equivalent, I'm sorry, it's not equivalent, it's what they call their equivalent, for $400 and some plus a massive shipping. And you don't have the complete Apocrypha like you have in Yah Scriptures. This is as complete Apocrypha as I see at the moment. And I know there's a lot of other books out there. We're working on a couple other books that may go in the small book at some point. But this is probably the greatest English translation that we've had before our eyes at any one point. So if you guys want them, I would encourage you guys to grab them before they disappear. Now, the very last book in Yah Scriptures is called the Book of 𝐤𝐿, and it's also the Book of the Nazarene. I guess is another nickname that it's known by. But this is the words of our Messiah as he's walking among us as in a human form, giving us the instructions of Torah, helping us to understand them better. And this is our leader for the kingdom to come, guys. When Yahuwah is done with the world that we have right here, and he's like, you know what? I'm fed up with it. Everybody's just worshiping the devil. And he calls his people from the four corners of these plains, right? From our world, he calls us as a people. There's going to be messengers. There's going to be an exodus. There's going to be everybody that is serving our Creator is going to be taken care of. And we're going to have a very extracurricular, very extra special, super spiritual descent over to Yisrael. The modern day Yisrael, according to Scriptures, is pretty much gone. When we make it over there, it's all been destroyed. Everything we're cleaning up. We're dragging bodies out. We're cleaning up the land, making it all ready. As a city, the New Jerusalem has basically asphyxiated itself on the top of Mount Zion. So here we are with a crazy kingdom to rule, and we have our Messiah who's coming down, who's going to be ruling from there. And we have 1,000 years of this crazy madness where the rest of the world is just cutting themselves up and crushing each other, just getting wild and wicked and even more wild. And then we have the final battles, and we have the final times when our Messiah is no longer doing the kumbaya and the lovey-lovey. He is a deliverer of war, a deliverer of death, a deliverer of destruction. And he's going to melt the metal, and he's going to destroy everything. And it's all been written. And a lot of these stories are and I think most of them are in the book of Yah Scriptures. So all of the Apocrypha talk about the same stuff that I'm talking about right here. So that's what I'm backing all of this stuff up with. So it's going to be crazy. It's going to be amazing, right? And all of a sudden, Messiah's going to say, okay, you guys who are on this calendar, realign just a little bit. And this is the reason why it wasn't meant to be like this. We're 6,000 years out of where, the original, Adam was. Things got confused. Things got jacked up. But I appreciate you guys attempting to keep these appointed times. And especially Shabbat. There's one appointed time that all of us, every single week, can absolutely keep. And that's the seventh day Shabbat. Rest and read Scriptures, hang with your family, love, do what we do, read Scriptures. So here's our Messiah ruling from the top of Mount Zion. These are his words, which is why we would want to understand these, which is why we would want to understand what he's talking about. So let's get it on. And again, I'm sorry for rambling. I always do. But I love you guys. 19. Some in the crowd said among themselves, these words we can understand. Truly, this one is the promised. This one is the one promised who will deliver us from our oppressors. Now, before this, Messiah was talking about how he's going to come, right? How the rule of Elohim is, what it looks like. Sorry, guys, 13, I think 19. How it's going to look, all of these things, and the people in the crowd are like, wow. This dude's going to get us from our oppressors. They thought he was going to come in and take out the Romans of the time. They were going to free themselves. It was going to be like the days of David, the days of David. They were going to have their own freedoms again. They weren't going to be oppressed. They didn't understand it, and most didn't understand all the way till Messiah's gone, and it starts clearing up. 20. Yahushua said, bide your time, and all things will be made clear. A scribe in the crowd said, it seems you speak with hidden meanings. How are we to interpret your teachings? Yahushua said, you are so accustomed to devious thinking, trying to make a yes into a no to suit your convenience, that when given truth, you tear it apart, seeking to find something else behind it. Unless you accept these things, as would a child, you cannot hope to enter the reign of Elohim, of Yahuwah. Guys, we hear this over and over and over, right? Something about the child, something about the faith and acceptance of a child. And we're talking, you guys know what I'm talking about, the kids that are, you tell them this hot coal is something great and they'll grab it and they wouldn't know. They would just believe anything, and that's what we have to believe. We have to come back to our roots. We have to ditch all of our programming. All of us have been programmed in this R word, this terrible religion. All of us come with indoctrination. Some of us think the Creator and the Son and the Ruach HaKodesh are all one entity, and that somehow they killed the Creator of the universe. When clearly Messiah says no, that he's not the Creator, and the Creator says, I am one. It's very, very obvious, but you got to read scriptures, right? And so we come with all of these things, and we have to ditch them. We have to get rid of them, and we have to come back to reading scriptures ourselves. We need to read this. All of us can comprehend. All of us can read. This is why we've given Yah Scriptures away. All of the PDFs, the apps, the eSword modules, everything possible that we can give away that doesn't cost us like a hard print, that's given away. And once we get a routine going with these itty bitty tiny little Bibles that are going to be coming in here, which I would not even be able to see, guys. This is why I have the big blue book. My eyes aren't great, and I would have to sit there and strain and put on glasses and read this. But we're hoping to make this something that at some point we can give them away more freely, and in a hard copy to those who need it. So that is our goals and what we're trying to do. But the answer that Messiah gave is clearly, and a lot of us, this is the same thing, right? We're so accustomed to devious thinking. All of us, we live in this really devious world, right? We're inundated with ads. We're inundated with marketing. You get this ad that comes on and it looks, oh man, that looks really, really good. And then you're like, you know what? This can't be real, blah, blah, blah. It's just everybody's trying to lie to us. And so that would be your very first thing. And the scribe got into this, and he kind of got drilled right here. Messiah goes on, he goes, when you see clouds coming in from the west, you say soon there will be rain. And this forecast proves to be correct. When the south wind blows, you say it will be extremely hot. And again, your prediction is right. What hypocrites you are, so quick to interpret some signs while closing your eyes to others less to your liking. You can interpret the signs on the earth and sky, but close your eyes to those indicating present trends. Wow, heavy, heavy stuff, right? And Messiah has given us kind of this weather parable beating before that hey, you can decipher this stuff in here, but you're not able to see the finer things of the spiritual kingdom. And that's one of the things, I guess, living out in these middle of these jungles in such a volatile, almost a violent area. We live in a place that is dominated by everything but humans, right? Especially us. We're not one of the guys that go to any kind of concrete kingdom. We are so deep down in these jungles that you are the prey. There isn't a day you don't get bit in your legs, arms, somewhere, something. You get a drive-by biting, right? They come and get you all the time. And so it's one of these things that we can, down here, we can see a supernatural protection that we have to have because we put ourselves into this environment. And I've seen wild grass fires on their way to destroy my cows and my chickens and everything stop in the middle of dry grass. As all my family and I are screaming, there's soot all over us. My shoes have melted off. They literally melted off my feet during this fire we're trying to do. And we defended our house with these little tiny hoses running from side to side. And these jungle fires are incredible. And we lost control. It was over. All we could do was sit there and let it burn, and it just stops. It completely stops. There's videos on this channel that, go back and go find some that are blackened, that are completely black on my land. It just stopped right there. And at the end, I asked my family, were you guys praying? And everybody's like, yeah, we were screaming out to Elohim. We were on it. And Those are the things, the finer things of this spiritual world, why I can tell you that I truly believe that the kingdom is going to come. I truly believe something's going to happen over there, something so amazing, because I see all the realms of darkness and they are ramping up nothing you could say but an amazing evil darkness, right? There's such an evil path, such an evil world. The people have been so corrupted that we got to be something close to something. So we can see these trends, and guys, so we need to look into the finer things of the realm of our kingdom that's coming. And again, guys, there's defenders all around us, and I truly believe this. I truly believe that there is an extra set of soldiers that are there for Torah keepers that probably have taken care of business, and you guys don't even know what kind of business came your way. So I'm just saying. 24. Someone in the crowd said, "We have the failings of men. Should we be condemned for these?" Yahushua replied, "As sons of Yahuwah, you inherit his substance and are heirs to glory. Think less of earthly weaknesses and more of reverent strength." Wow, this is huge stuff, guys, right? Because a lot of us will fall into this, oh man, we're very, very bad. We've done some bad things. It's just, how could we ever make this? And a lot of people just say, I don't think I'm good enough to ever make it. So why even try? Right. And that's the thing with the Christians as well, with their laws, right? It's like, well, if you break one law, you break them all. That doesn't mean you shouldn't be keeping the laws of our Creator, right? That's so silly. Oh, okay. Think about that in going in the U.S., right? Stopping at a stop sign. Well, sometimes I don't stop at this one. Sometimes I just slide on through. So I might as well just slide on through everything. See what happens in life when you guys do that stuff. So Messiah says, let's think less about our earthly weaknesses. And that doesn't say to let sin inundate us. That says to dial our lives in, guys. And we need to have clean hearts, clean hands, clean minds. Our lives need to be different. We need to truly look different than the world to make this happen, to make this transport to wherever it is that we're heading at some point, if it's even in our lifetime. Now, continuing on. 26. Another in the crowd asked Yahushua about unjustified suffering, and might not his cause bring this upon the heads of his followers? Someone else said, "What about the people of Galilee who died in resisting the efforts of Pilatus to appropriate the 𝐤𐤄𐤅𐤔𐏏 offerings so he could bring water to the city of Jerusalem?" And so they're bringing about these issues that were obviously, in their eyes, bad things, right? Pilatus resisting the efforts to appropriate the offerings in the temple. That is a huge thing in Judaism and in back in the day when the priests were there. So Messiah answers this. He says, Yahushua said, "The people of Galilee and the governor did right in their own eyes, the former seeking to serve Elohim, and the latter men. But these things are not matters to be placed at issue, for whoever serves one serves the other, and there is no clash of interests. Can you believe that the people of Galilee who suffered as they did were worse than others in Galilee? This is not so. They suffered for no wrongdoing, but through misguidance." So here we have it, right? Why do we suffer? What happens to us when we suffer? Well, sometimes it's self-inflicted, right? I've done a tremendous amount of things in my life that I end up suffering for, or my kids suffer for, or that I see that I have maimed them mentally in a way of spirituality, where I was not Torah keeping, where I was, straight up a raging Gentile, right? I was the best of the raging Gentiles, bacon in my microwave bacon, ham sandwiches, all this stuff. It's a mess. It's a mess. So it's not always that, hey, we're at the hand of our Creator. It's a lot of people go, hey, Yah, why is this happening to me? Did you do this to me? Is this happening? Is this testing, or what's going on? Sometimes it's just bad things happen to good people because we're part of this world system. So, there's that. And there's also something I want to mention that I mentioned it before, but I believe that the protection of the spiritual protection that we have as followers of our Creator have thwarted off many, many dangers and many, many things. And if nothing, probably keeping demons away from us and at bay so that we're not consumed by them. So there's a side of the supernatural that we have probably no idea that's always fighting for us, taking care of business. And so we need to be very, very thankful for everything. And so continuing on, how far into this have I gotten? Oh man, it's looking rambling. I think I better just end it at this one. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Calamity strikes capriciously. I don't think I said that word right. I don't think I'm going to try it again. Do you think those who died when the tower fell on them at Siloam deserve death more than the others? Life is full of uncertainties, so men must be made aware of the need for repentance, knowing the day of assessment may be near or far. But one thing is for sure. But be sure of one thing. There will be no discrimination among you on the assessment day. All will get their fitting reward. That's scary, huh? Right? I mean, this is it. Some point we will stand naked before our Creator. We will have nothing to back us. And I say naked before our Creator because that's what it's going to be. And I don't think it's going to be a shame thing, but we're going to be all alone and we're going to be facing judgment. We're going to be facing the world that we were in. And again, a lot of us come from very evil stuff, a very evil past. I've talked about this before. I'm an old street gangster. I'm an old thug. I come from the streets. I come from slinging dope. That was my old existence, right? That was 25, 30 years ago, something like that. I'm getting old. But there's a lot of stuff that we have got to get to and get through to get to where we need to be. And so if we are always keeping our eyes on the prize, if we always have in our mind the Torah, which is why in Deuteronomy 6, it tells us that we need to think about it when we go to bed, think about it when we get up. It's one of these things that this is such an amazing thing that it begins with how to love our Creator with all of our heart and with all of our being and all of our might. Okay, that's what we want. How do we do it? What steps do we need to take right here? And before that, in 4, it's talking to us. It goes, "Hear, O people, O Yisrael." This is addressing everybody who wants to be a part of the kingdom to come. You would address yourself as Yisrael. Okay, what do you want me to hear? Well, that these words, which I am commanding you today, shall be in our heart. That we need to impress them upon your children. Guys, it doesn't say to speak softly to your children. Impress them upon your children. We shall speak of them when we sit in your house and when you walk by the way and when you lie down and when you rise up. What are we impressing upon our children? What are we doing? What is this all talking about? It's talking about the laws of our Creator, the ways of our own Creator, the instructions, the good instructions, the way forward that we should go. So we impress them upon our children. We speak of them when we sit in our house, just like we're doing right now. We're talking about them. The greatest things that we can ever have. I want to throw them out because they're great. And when we walk by the way, well, guys, that's all of us, right? We're walking here and there. We're walking there. Have you guys ever heard of the Torah? Would you guys like to know that there's more than just religion and know some more, right? When we encounter people, we're walking by the way. When we lie down and when we rise up, guys, that's going to bed. Are we meditating on the laws of our Creator? Are we grateful for everything He's given us? Another day, another breath, another moment in this land that we can test ourselves. And if your eyes are open now, praise Yah. Praise Yah, He did this. So what else do we do with these things? We bind them as a sign on our hand. What does that mean? That means that you know these so intimately and so thoroughly that you know them. When the devil comes and tempts you, you know the Torah as a rock in your path and a light in your way, and you whip out your armor and you whip out that sword and you say, "Devil, I know I have him bound upon my hand." And then we wear them as frontlets between our eyes. That's where you don't look at anything in this world. You wouldn't look at a television with the dirty, naked sodomy and evil that is blasting out. You would not set your kids up with Disney. You would not set your kids up with television at all. Everything you have. If you have the Torah as a frontlet before your eyes, then you're not going to allow corruption into your life, because you know you're not going to bypass the laws of our Creator. It's insane. Why would you tempt Elohim? Why would you know the Torah and then not use it to defend yourself and your family, right? That's what it's all about, guys. So with that, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Anyone that makes it to the end of this, extra big loves to you. Appreciate you all. Have a good one. I'm out.